Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So, so why do we need a process for designing anything? As I mentioned to you, it's the top of the knowledge pyramid. It's about creating. It's not about even anything else. And creating something is really, really difficult. I know people who are very good in analyzing, in evaluating also. Analyzing, evaluating in top industry, there'll be top engineers who are very good at that. But there will only be a few people out of even like say General Electric Research and Development in New York, out of the 2000 PhDs, there'll be only few people who will be coming up with new patents, new ideas all the time. The vast majority will only be analyzing and evaluating and so on. Okay, so it is a very difficult skill. Why? The reason is, why is it very difficult to create something new? Is the moment I give you a question, you will immediately rely on your previous knowledge of what that answer is to come up with something. Okay? So the reason for that is we have a subconscious brain and we have one like a subconscious brain and we have a frontal lobe. Frontal lobe is the one that is responsible for conscious decisions and it's usually very slow. Okay? The subconscious brain will always take all the information that you already have, it will process it into some nice easy answers and it will try to tell you the answer. Yeah. It is that is nothing but the I might have even written it somewhere there. Okay. But whatever we get from our subconscious brain is what we call the prejudice or bias. Okay. So tomorrow, supposing we are all going and having breakfast tomorrow and the choice is between idli and puri. Okay, I ask you, you want to eat idli or puri? You will say, immediately you will say puri. Yes. Then I will ask you why. Then you will come up with a question, nice answer. See, yesterday and day before all I ate idli, so today I want to eat puri. Or you will say, no, see what happens, this idli here is a little bit harder here. Something you will come up with. So these are all post-factor rationalizations of your subconscious. Your subconscious knew. Okay. Similarly, I mean, not only you, mine also. So it's much faster. And why did that happen? So that's because subconscious brain focuses, it does not go to an alternatives, it wants to go to a solution. It wants to make a yes or no or something. Why is that? It is because 50,000 years ago, our ancestors who are cave people had their club, they were going hunting. Oh, they're like, this seems like I know this is my best cave language, man. What can I say? You know, I have not practiced it too much. So the other guys so they're trying to find out where the food is. Okay, so they've gone to this forest and then they hear a rustling behind a bush. Their subconscious should immediately make a decision whether they are going to be the food of that or that is going to be their food. So because of that, you have to be able to recognize all these. So over the years, your experience tells you this particular sound is dangerous. Better start running. And there also, you don't have to outrun that. You have to outrun your friend. That is called RGing. In IIT lingo, I don't know if you have heard of it. In IIT Madras, there's a lingo called RGing. RG. RG is relative grading. Okay, in the exams and probably actually even your JEE and sort of thing, it's all relative grading. Okay, you can, the highest mark can be 30 out of 100. As long as you're ahead of the rest of your people, you're going to get the top grade, right? Like a percentile, right? So that for that to give a humorous description of what RG, if you have to explain to our people who are coming in, we'll say like if you're like this two cave people, you don't have to outrun the tiger. You have to outrun your friend. So when the tiger is busy eating your friend, you are safe. Right? Quite a horrible way of putting it, right? But that's okay. It's all in good fun only. So, right? So that is, basically, so the subconscious is continuing to do the same thing now. Okay? So you will always look at stuff out there and you will quickly make a decision about whether you like it or not. And why do you like it and all doesn't bother. It will just somehow settle into, so at some point something you would not, at that point there would have been like the texture would not have been good or some color or something, and with that you will make a decision and that's it. Now you are, if you ask your rational brain to overcome it, you will always come up with some post facto rationalizations of why that is not good, right? Agreed? Everybody is agreeing with that? So please think about it along these lines. So these are all useful for real life tomorrow. Okay? So usually what happens is, if I want you to create something new, what your mind will do, subconscious will come up with an answer. And then the rational brains comes way to justify an idea, and it is like usually completely backwards, because literally from this point of view you have to take all the data and then only come up with the best amongst many choices. Okay, so let us come up with one example. Let's have you all think of one. So think of a completely novel completely new kind of so the normal thing which I've given in previous thing is like a lawn mower. Okay, completely new lawn mower. Yeah, let's work with the same thing. So you know what a lawn mower is, right? Suppose you have grass in a small patch and you want to just keep the grass. So if I want to come up with a completely new lawn mower, what would you do? What would it have? What features would it have? It's very new.
Instead of moving it, we can drive it.
Very nice. So she's thinking about list of like this thing, you're sitting on the lawnmower and driving around. Very good, excellent. What else?
Automatic.
Or automatic. Now you have this you have this Roomba. You have Roomba, right? You switch it on, like hopefully it'll go. Great. Wow, very novel. What else? Come on.
Sometimes rocks get stuck in the lawnmower, then the blades stop moving and breaks down. So maybe something that can sift out the rocks.
Okay, something that will sift out rocks. So that this lawnmower will never stop working, and it will continue to till you finish up. Excellent. What else?
Cutting, it can also water the grass behind it.
Beautiful. Excellent. So it's novel. Hey, this waters the grass also behind it. Excellent. One more. No. Excellent, excellent. So what do you mean by that? Plastic grass. Genetically modified grass. Excellent, very nice. So I thought you were talking about plastic grass, but okay, no problem. Superb. So, but you have to make the person walk, but that's okay, great. So you can say the shoes will cut the grass as you walk around. Not only will you get exercise, you have a nice, neat lawn after that. Beautiful.
We'll make the dogs or the cats wear that type of shoes.
Too good, excellent. I am glad to hear that. So not only wearing like saying your dogs and cats are making getting the exercise. So some automatic. So he's going to have a sensor that will actually, so you won't cut the grass even 1 millimeter below the required height. Only if it crosses that height, it will cut. Superb. What else? Make? So some new lawn mower which will actually not only cut grass but it will make patterns such that it looks much better. Beautiful. Aesthetically it will be good. Yeah. So test its chemical thing. Excellent. Very good. So it's beautiful. Yes. Any more? No? Any more sessions? Yeah.
There can be like a sensor that senses if the grass grows up something like a huge blade or laser.
Just one huge or laser. See why blade? You know, we'll have a laser go and cut it. So we don't care about neighbors kids and all. We'll just put a laser. Great. I love it. This is novel. See, I didn't say it has to be great. You know, it has to it has to be novel as I asked. So good. So yeah, one more session.
Pedal powered lawnmower.
Pedal powered. He's going retro. Okay, good. Okay, pedal powered.
It collects the grass which it's cutting and uses it for like artificial mats or whatever. You can like use to cut something up.
Yeah, excellent. So good. So all of you have come up with novel lawn mowers, but if you notice one thing, they're all sort of same old dabba that you had earlier, on which you put some bells and whistles, you put some sensors, you put some water, some. Okay, man. At the end of the day, It's still the same old dabba. Okay, I can't sing. Okay, so but how about buying a herd of goats? He thought of it. You should have told it, man. It would have been good. Oh gosh, so that is also a lawnmower.
You will have no grass left.
It's a completely novel lawnmower. Sorry? Huh? Sorry?
If peddling itself is retro, then this is
It is medieval, correct. No, I didn't say retro in a bad way. I just wanted to describe it. So, in other words, sorry?
That's like feasible. Less
Why is it?
than
Why is it less novel?
so
So this is the important lesson I want you to tell. So he's finding it less novel, and all your ideas only are more novel. No. So here, because the reason we are not able to agree, and I am sticking to my herd of goats, and he and I are in the same team, because you never asked what is the customer's requirement. When they said novel, what did they want? Did they want a laser beam? Did they want it to like put lights and like do some Bollywood dancing? What did they want out of it? If they wanted a very like say environmentally friendly solution, then maybe herd of goats is the best one. So the need of the customer was not found, and you were still, I mean, you came up with novel ideas, but at the end of the day, it is still kind of circumscribed by your previous experience of what it is doing. Okay. By the way, I'm not saying this is the only truth. In spite of doing this, you can still come up with a novel idea completely off the beaten track. Okay. And if you find out what the customer requires, you can come up with a good solution. But generally, we will end up sticking to the specifics of what we know, and we will put one additional one additional sensor here, one actuator there, and we will say yes, and we'll put one. Yes, question.
Why do you say that doing something by having something else is the reference point, and building upon that is necessarily not the most innovative or novel way?
It is not the most innovative because you are circumscribing your domain of search. Okay. Ideally, so imagine I want you to come up with a better brake material. So I'm building a new electric car. So it's coming out of our, let us say, department, and we're going to start a company. We want a new better brakes for the car. Okay. If I say that I want better brake materials, right now the brake materials are wearing out after 20,000 kilometers. I want a better brake material. Okay. Now, moment you do that, you will start looking, oh, you know what, this is now composed of copper. I'm going to put one little bit of zirconium or something, right? Or I'm going to put some silicon carbide particles in there that will improve the wear resistance. But so therefore, instead of 20,000, I'll get 30,000 kilometers. Okay. However, and this is already implemented, another form of a brake is nothing but a regenerative energy device. That is, you use that energy to like charge up a battery. So there is no brake pad or anything like that. You put an electric field, as that you get a counter force, and that work being done is actually being. So a regenerative braking is quite a bit out of your idea if I just started looking for only solutions in a very specific fashion. That is what I'm trying to say. You might, and regenerative braking have been discovered, and it's quite a novel idea, no problem. All I'm talking about in this process is how to systematize it, to make sure it happens more often than not. And by the way, maybe the solution that is circumscribed to what you already have might still be the best solution. I mean, more of the customers might want that. I'm not denying that. All I'm saying is systematically, I want to expand the search space and want to throw out stuff only when I know that it is not necessary, not because I never thought of it. Okay. If tomorrow, if you go and if you start a company on lawnmowers, and like next customer comes and they'll say, I'll send you 10 goats. They may not be very happy about it. I'm not saying that's the solution. All I'm saying is I don't want you to throw out innovative solutions which are out there beforehand. Only examine them and then, yeah.
I largely agree with whatever you're telling, but I have slight disagreements over here. Because whenever you're creating something new, we can create something novel every single time, right? Because
We cannot.
you would be reinventing the wheel every single time, and that is a very inefficient process, in my opinion. We have set stuff that is known to work and has been very efficient in its field already. So wouldn't it be more efficient for us to build upon that rather than coming up with entirely new solutions?
Okay, good question, and there's no one simple answer to that. So what he's saying is, there is a reason why people are only incrementally going forward. Okay, if you have a Dreamliner 777, it becomes 787. It does not become something else. Is what he's saying, and there's a reason for that. There's efficiency of 777. You already know so much. You add one delta 10% to everything, and it will become 787. Okay, is what you are saying. There are two answers to that. See, there again, there is no one answer to it because it depends on what the customer wants. If the customer wants 777 with some additional features, then you go for a Dreamliner 787, Boeing 7. However, if there is a scope for really going back to the basics and coming up with completely new alternative, you might find, yes, initially, by the way, it will be more costly. But eventually, that is the one that is going to completely blow out the world. So it's a balance of what you can do and what you have the wherewithal to do right now, and what it is that you want to achieve.
It's sort of like a follow-up question over here. Whenever you're creating something entirely novel, you never know if you're going to arrive at a solution that is better or...
Understood. Correct. But see, that means you're not saying that you're not going to consider all the incremental innovations. You're not going to consider. What all I'm saying is, when I say novel lawnmower, I want you to put herd of goats there. I want you to put his famous laser beam there, and I want you to put whatever else, like a watering device and I want you to put everything there, and systematically, without prejudice, without bias, examine all of them according to what the customer need is. So for that, before that, I have to write down the customer need. So when I gave an example, think of a completely novel lawnmower, I was being unfair to you. Or rather, you should ask, sir, before I give you an answer, what is your actual need? Just novel business and all, don't tell me. Tell me what is it that you want.
But sir, in this example, the one need is a good lawn. So
Yeah, but it's a good lawn, but that I have with my current lawnmower, right? So you should ask, you have it already then. Without spending a single rupee, you take your lawnmower out and you do it, what is there? Then only you will get the need of the person. So very good. I'm really glad to see this sort of engagement. Yeah. So it's 3:40 and I think I'm going to get kicked out very soon. What is your actual schedule? Until 4, is it okay? But then they will have time for their 4 to 4:20 they have. Oh, excellent. Okay, excellent. So I read it wrong. So now we'll go through a little bit about what this rational design process is. So first of all, you have to think about it a hierarchical approach. First of all, innovation, you'll need to be able to integrate many systems, and you have to be able to understand the functionality that is required in order to go. Maybe this is a little bit too detailed. I don't probably need to go through this with you guys. Let me just go forward a little bit. Sorry?
Could you still just brush through?
Yeah, brush through. That's what. It's okay. This is all. You need to do innovation, evaluation. This is brushing enough for you. Don't worry about it. It's not. You're not losing any big stuff. Okay. I'll go to some interesting stuff. Let's. Okay. Yeah. Let's. The previous slide is. I'm covering the previous slide here also. Huh? Okay. So I want you to all think about when you're doing design. Okay. The first thing I told you about how engineers are also addressing society, not only doctors. So design is not about things. When you think about a design, no, I want to design a new handheld dishwashing. I have to tell you this story. Like students in engineering design department, they had a project class. So they came up with this handheld dishwashing machine. Then I asked why. I was supposed to, I'm the examiner, okay, I have to evaluate their. So I asked, why did you come up with this idea? Like, sir, in our kitchens, we don't have so much space to put actual dishwasher. So if you have a handheld one, it's a very compact one, it'll be good. I was like, wow, this is a great idea. Okay. So then they talked about how some of the engine like torques, where the the what do you call it, the detergent is saying where water is coming, how that's all sensors and controllers, everything they talk. Okay, great. And then that is the initial thing. So in the midterm, they had to do a prototype already. Okay. So then they made a prototype, and I remember going and picking it up, and it was so heavy. I said, like, who's your customer, Arnold Schwarzenegger or what? Like, right, Sylvester Stallone. It was so heavy. Like, I was like, what? I was just thinking about a typical person who's going to use it. He's going to have a huge bicep at the end of this. So then I said, look, are you keeping your customer in mind? Don't talk to me about torques and all anymore. Torque of that motor and like how much they did calculations about like the sticking force of particles on the food and the torque to like friction for. Oh, wait. All that is not necessary. Tell me whether somebody can use it or not. Okay. So then I said that is going to be the focus of your final presentation. Okay. And promptly they come back to final presentation, still the same thing, still as heavy. They have not done anything. Like, what did you do over this time? No, sir, we fine-tuned the torque required. What we did was we said that, the water jet is not coming at enough speed. So we changed the thing. So we know that we have, if you write the Bernoulli's equation here, we'll find that the pressure, wait, I don't want to know all that. Tell me who's going to use this, ergonomically who's going to use it. Otherwise, you don't have a customer. What is the point of doing all of this, right? So lots of times what happens is everybody is so caught up with the actual device, okay, and with how its functionality and so on. They are not keen thinking about who's going to use it. And this is an important transition. I keep trying to explain in all my classes. Design is about what a person wants, what a customer needs, not what you can do more stylishly. It can shoot laser beams and it can have music coming out and it can do a little Bollywood dance step and all, but it doesn't matter. You have to, somebody has to be able to pick it up and play. And actually, thing is, even during midterm, I suggested, it's not a big deal. You make sure you're balancing it right. Even though it's handheld, it is being balanced on this thing. All you are going to apply forces to just rotate it according to the vessel shape. That's all. So, you come up with an ergonomic stand which will allow the thing. If your motor is too heavy, by the way, you can always solve it because you need to solve it. That's an important. So, all I want to let you know about this thing is that design is about customer being, society being, like the societal need being satisfied, not just you coming up with a nice wall climbing robo or something like that, right? Yeah. Okay. So the method. So nobody cares about what the intermediate method steps are. Finally, are you delivering what the customer needs or not? So, and it also, you have to keep in mind, this represents a way of thinking about it. Like, that what is your priority, and so you have to take away some of these steps. Lots of times we are more concerned about, hey, can that motor have enough torque? Can it have enough power? Will it heat up too much? No, don't worry about it. Those problems can be solved as long as you are keeping the broad goal in mind. So this can be applied to everything, including vacation planning, as I told you a little bit earlier, preparing for your exam. Everything, you should try to think about it along these lines. Okay? Yeah, question.
About the handheld dishwashing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you still have to stand in the sink.
Yes.
To wash the dishes, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
You're still spending time washing. No, you're not doing this. You're
No,
just.
but it's still standing. That's the main problem.
You're standing. See, so very good point. So, say that's why what the customer wants, we have not, the reason for the little discussion between us is because we are not clear about what the customer wants. If the customer says, look, I don't mind standing, it's just that I don't want to keep lifting them up and all these dishes, and don't want to do this, and it doesn't look clean at the end of it. Can you guarantee that any shape of vessel, the same, putting less effort, can I get a better? If that is the customer statement, I don't mind standing, I don't mind spending this time, then this is still a solution. If, as you pointed out, look, I don't want to do that, I want to go watch TV, and it should take care of it, then you have to come up with something else, definitely. You may have to go to, so that definitely what the customer needs. So so if you say that I want to go watch TV during this time, then the constraint of the problem is so much that you will say, no, you need to have some space, I'll have to give you a box in which you have to put all the vessels in, and you will need that space. You have to give me at least a space. If you say, no, I can't give you space, only the space in the sink is necessary, maybe even then it's possible to solve it, but definitely we all have to be very clear. So is it's a customer need or is it a want? So if everybody will want everything. I know I want my car to be as cheap as what it is right now, but also look like a Mercedes Benz and drive like a Mercedes Benz. Sorry, okay, it's going to be a Dabba car that is sitting there, right? That's all it's going to be, okay? So I can't have, that is my want, it's not my need. A need is, you have to more clearly you have to identify, we'll come to that also. You have to be able to identify what is the absolute essentials and what are the, there's something called a need statement that you have to write. Okay, so let me quickly go through our slides. I mean, I don't have to cover everything. So engineers are basically, again, so towards the question about, isn't all that you described just an entrepreneur? So at least the way, I mean, in this slides we have described, and it's all these are nothing set in stone, okay? These are all some thoughts, ways of thinking about it. So an engineer is the buffer between that entrepreneur, the people who want to sell it, and people who use them. So in other words, you have to make the product. You have to actually come up with like satisfying all those customer needs. Okay. So again, here's some interesting definition. An inventor, we use the word inventor for lots of things. Inventor is something who can create things. Okay. But an engineer is the one who can create it to be safe to use. Okay. As the famous saying goes, any fool can strap 100 helium balloons to a chair and rise up in the air. Only an engineer can bring that person back down safely. Any fool can invent the wheel. Only the engineer would have invented the brakes. Right? So think about it like that. So the safety is a very high priority of all the things that we have to keep thinking about. So safety comes again, there's a huge talk you can have about safety. Well, safety is not just the brakes. It's about how what materials you used in that wheel such that it's not toxic later to the society. Are you using up so much resources that you're going to cause problems in food chain? Or are you going to generate microplastics which are going to go and kill marine life? So all of these are all safety issues, and we have to keep grappling with them. The only thing is we have only a certain amount of knowledge, so we try to work within that, but keep trying to think about how to make things more safer and so on. So core idea, the people who are affected about what you do are the clients. That's a simple definition. So tomorrow, if I want to plan a vacation, who's the people who are affected by your plan? It'll be your, who are traveling with you, your parents, your grandparents and sisters and brothers. So then those are your clients. So you have to make sure you have to find out what their needs are and then come up with the optimal solution for them. Okay, so actually I had some class activity for this, but I don't think we have time. So we'll go forward. So the very interesting thing, actually, if you have some time later, you want to spend some time brainstorming in groups, come up with this idea of some space saving furniture. So right now, one of the customer needs, one of my needs, I'll tell you, was that we don't have good storage space. Especially, I'll tell you, it's in the context of our engineering design department, labs. We have some labs during even semesters and some during odd semesters. And the equipment that we use during even semester, we want to store it away. And these are damn heavy things. Okay. And the thing is, so we have to put it around the room, and then therefore the space is less. Ideally, what I'd like to do is, I'd like to put it into a shelf, one shelf like that, and that shelf should automatically go up. And it should stay away from above the height of the people. Then I'll have a lot more space and I can work with my next lab. In fact, this is the reason why I gave that. So can you come up with a space saving shelf which will be able to have quite heavy equipment and yet it will go to a height. So these are not things that I can actually physically lift up and put. These will be quite heavy equipment. So like that, can you come up with how you will do that? So like that, what you should do is given now a customer needs statement, see if you can come up with some sketches and something like that, whatever you can think of, okay, as a later date when you have time and to do it. Yeah.
What will be the budget?
Excellent, very good, very good. So the first constraint of anything has to be the cost. Okay, if you said I have infinite resources, I can solve any problem. I can violate second law of thermodynamics for you guys. I can violate law of conservation of mass if you give me enough resources, infinite resources. Okay, unfortunately, we have only finite resources, and we have to find out what is that limit of that resource. So that is why everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. But the person who comes up with that solution and yet is able to meet the budget needs of enough people is the entrepreneur. Okay. To be perfectly honest, that when Ather was being started, we thought the cost of that scooter will be too high for enough people to buy it, but they were able to come up with satisfy enough needs and make it enough of satisfy enough customer need that it became a successful product. So like that, you have to know where the balance is, and it's not a trivial answer to that question. Very good. So now we will stop with just this slide. Okay, so basically the need statement, trying to understand this need statement. Okay, so there is a difference between as a need and a want, as I mentioned to you a little bit earlier. Okay, so for this, very useful thing is you should try to develop what is called a high level, abstract and qualitative description of your needs. Very important and very useful thing. By the way, I hope I have not bored you guys. You're not expecting something. I just got something. I hope you got a nice feel for like this design process. Okay. So, so you have to come up. So if somebody comes and tells you, I want a better bicycle. I want a better bicycle. So now, what is the need? In order to find out, like what happens is, if you say better bicycle, you will think of, okay, right now the bicycle is 37 kgs. I'll make it 27 kgs. It will be better. Or it has no gears. I'll put 2 gears on it. It will be better. Something like that. You will always think about it only in terms of specifics and in terms of some numbers. So one of the important things to do when you're trying to come up with innovative design is to make it a little bit more abstract question. So what do you mean by that abstract question is, if I say I want as I said, a better bicycle. So what we are trying to say is, I want a better transportation device. I want a transportation device. So there is a more abstract. A transportation device doesn't look like a bicycle anymore. Bicycle looks like a bicycle in your mind. Bicycle has only 2 wheels. Okay. If you say it's a little bit more abstractly a transportation device, now you can start thinking maybe you will make a hoverboard, okay, or maybe you will make like a unicycle, something. You can now go to a larger range of music. But for that, you have to make sure that your level of abstraction is not so abstract that you're just I want I want a dabba, you can't say like so abstractly, you can't say that. You have to still keep the customer needs. So there is some process to this. I don't think I'll have enough time. But bottom line, this is a very useful thing. Try not to be quantitative early. Supposing I want to go for a vacation, planning a vacation with family. Okay, 4 of us are planning to go. So try not to become quantitative right in the start. No, we have to go for half an hour here, at least half an hour there. We should not do that. What are the things that we want to do in a very qualitative sense, and try to try to list them down in the order of priority. So it should be more like, I want to be able to visit a museum. Okay, I want to have at least one paragliding experience. Something like that. Some qualitatively you have to try to make your statement. And this is true even in the engineering problems. Try to make it more qualitative in the first step. If I write lots of times what happens is a lot of engineering problems are stated very quantitatively. Literally the customer will come and say, I want brakes which will, right now the current brakes last 20,000 kilometers. I want them to last 25,000 kilometers. They'll come and tell you something like that. Then you have to go back and ask, first take step back. Qualitatively, what do you want? Not just don't tell me numbers yet. Like that you have to go. I don't think we'll have enough time for this. It's a lot of fun stuff. There's more details. For this, I'll just almost end with this slide. How do you do this? You ask, why do you need it? 25,000 kilometers. Why do you need a brake which will last 25,000 kilometers rather than this thing? So then that will allow you to become more abstract, okay? Because it will save me money, because it will prevent untoward accidents, brake failure accident. Like that, they will be able to tell you answers to that why question. With that, your direction of your novelty of your design will be more appropriately directed, okay? So if somebody had to ask, what is a novel lawnmower? You should ask, why do you want a novel lawnmower? I'll say, hey, no, right now it's guzzling a lot of diesel. I can smell all that. I don't want to sing. Then you'll say, hey, okay, my innovative solution of herd of goats is actually fine, right? So like that. So, and that is how to get to a more abstract state. Then if you ask, how do I do it? How shall I do it? It will make you more detailed. Okay, how do I make it more better brakes for my car? Oh, right now it is made of pure copper. I'm going to make it a composite with some copper and some alloy. So like that that is going more detailed. So this is a iterative process that we ask our students to do so that they can come up with more innovative designs when they do so. And it need not be for the whole thing. It can be only on sub part. That is, if my students who did that image-guided neurosurgery, most of it will be the same, but some subpart alone might be innovative. They may have like only the energy source could be innovative, something like that. So like that, you can do it for any subpart of your thing or the whole thing. You can try to do so. So this is a broad introduction and a feel for like the design course. This is actually taught. Most of this stuff is taught in a subject called functional and conceptual design, which is taught in the first semester of our engineering design students. So this is taught. There's some house of quality. There are very systematic processes by which we can construct our solution. Go ahead.
So engineering design is a UG course?
Yes,
Or
yes.
is it like a minor subject?
No, it's actually a separate department. The students who come into our department after JEE, they will come in and they will, right now, so far they stay for a dual degree course. So they'll get an undergraduate degree in engineering design and my MTech in either biomedical design or automotive design. So that is the 1 year branching that they have right now. There's also robotics, 3 of them are there. So, but it is an undergraduate course. So mostly there are a lot of undergrad. We teach them both mechanical and electrical. So you can think of it as a mechatronics kind of course. Because most of biomedical devices require mechatronics. Most of automotive nowadays also require mechatronics. So they have equal grounding in mechanical design and electrical design. I teach some of the mechanical courses, the structures and fluid mechanics and thermodynamics and heat transfer and stuff. Okay, good. Yeah, question.
You talked about the Department of Medicinal Sciences.
Yes.
And even the students who don't take biology in 11th and 12th join the department.
Yeah. So the entrance there is that it's not through JEE. It is through that ICER aptitude test, IIT. Okay. So those students have been coming in. Like we have taken 2 undergrad batches already. They do a Bachelor of Technology. They do a Bachelor of Science in Medical Science and Engineering. And they don't need to know biology. Out of the 30 students, about 20 or so, maybe 16, 18 have taken biology in their 12th. But the other 10, 12 have not. And it's not a problem. We do cover things from more basics also, so that they can catch up. Cool. Any other questions? Okay. If not, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you got something out of this couple of hours. Good. All the very best, guys. So, if you have any questions, again, please feel free to just send me an email. Just put RSIC 2025 and PPT. I will share it with them. I will share it with them, and they will put it up as a. Yes. Sure. Thanks.
Let us all join together to express our gratitude to Dr. Srikanth Vedantam for giving such a valuable discussion on design, realizing uncertainty and constraints in the real life applications. It was eye-opening to see the number of interpretations for the needs of the clients. Your wonderful and relatable examples helped us think in different angles. Your ability to answer our questions, very student-friendly, left us astounding. Your relevant tangents about Indians and Tamils had done, that too a little before the dinosaurs had ruled over the world, improved our creating and evaluating to make rational decisions. Thank you, sir.
Sure, you're welcome.
Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.